Oh, yay. I'm so excited to be here with Teresa, my Capricorn buddy. She's got way more Capricorn than me, but who's counting?
Right? We're like magnets anyway.
Right. But we both get the whole Capricorn thing. And so we're excited to be here today to share with you about the December solstice. And the December solstice is determined by the time when the sun reaches 0 degrees Capricorn. So this is the seasonal event. And as I've loved to mention, the signs are seasonal and the constellations are the backdrop that the seasonal signs move through. And over 26,000 years, every seasonal point will be with every constellation. And currently, one of the reasons this is such an exciting time is that the 0 Capricorn point is on the galactic cross at the
Mm,
galactic center. And this only happens for a time period. It actually is in that range for a long time, you know, at least 1,000 years, so probably
hmm
in the
hmm
rain, in that vicinity. But it's on the exact cross, according to an astronomer named Jean Muse, who calculated that the exact center point of it was in 1998. So if we looked at what it moves 1 degree every 72 years, if we looked at 72 years before that point and 72 years after that point, we've been in this for a while since 1926 and it goes to 2070. So every December solstice is illuminating this galactic cross at the galactic center. And it's a special time. And not only is it a New Year's point because it's well, in the northern hemisphere anyway, it's the shortest day and the longest night, and it's the beginning of the lengthening of the days. So it's a seed point, like a new moon point, because then after the new moon, when the sun and the moon are conjunct, you don't see the moon, but then you see the moon start waxing and gaining light after the new moon. So it's like a new moon point of a year. And and because we're in this time of a shifting from one 26,000 year cycle to a new 26,000 year cycle, we're also in a galactic new year. So we have the solar new year. It's similar to a new moon. We've got the galactic new year happening. So every solstice from now until 2070 is going to be within range of this galactic cross at the galactic center. Super exciting. I just love talking about this so much.
And magical. And so one of the things that I always associate with this, it's a 3-day window where everything kind of looks the same. So, the looking at the standstill of the light and waiting for the return of the light. So that was a big deal in the olden days when we didn't have clocks or calendars and we were just moving through nature, observing the sky and the cycles of the earth, that, was it going to get lighter again? I mean, and so,
Oh, the
it was,
sunrise.
yeah, so I think that's interesting. And because of all the Capricorn, that Capricorn winter point is for us here in North America is has always been a magnet to me. I feel really comfortable and really at home in that dark space, and it's easy to turn inward and do the year review and then reflect on what could be coming soon, coming to pass sooner. What are some steps I can take to move into something new or redo some of the old stuff to fit a new path forward? Once, you hit February, is the next, like the quickening below the earth. So while we're down composting and just marinating all the things to come forth again after the first of the year, as the next season comes in, staying quiet. And
Yeah,
that's
I love,
hard. It's hard to stay quiet though during the busiest time of year
well,
for us up here, right?
I
It's
know.
like,
Well, why did our culture do that? Why did we do that to
don't
ourselves? It's like, what
know.
the heck?
Because it was very simple, you know.
Became more
It's
complicated. So,
it's so
so what
complicated now.
about Capricorn is that its most favorite thing, we've talked about this before, is to do things in the most effective and efficient way with the
Hmm
least amount of effort to get the best results.
Yes.
And if we think about the December solstice, and of course this is our northern hemisphere experience, southern hemisphere they're going into their summer, but um, or their days are going to start shortening from this point,
Mhm.
and for us our days are going to start lengthening from this point. So there's a similar thing going on, but it's just the opposite side of the coin, I guess is one way to say that. Anyway, but Capricorn is really uh I feel like it's a playful, fun energy because it's not as so serious as we've made it in this culture. Like, oh my God, you have to get the work done and you have to work hard and you have to prove yourself to some kind of external authority that you're worthy and that you deserve to have a recognition or a place in this world or whatever it might be. And that's not
Right?
really the essence of Capricorn. Capricorn is just like, yeah, if we figure out how to do it in the most efficient way possible, we have the most time to play.
Exactly. And you can go out and buy shiny glasses
There you go.
instead of the professional looking ones.
Oh, I know, I love that. It's so great to have you on camera this
I
time.
know, right? Yeah. Let's not talk about the tech issues. But But yeah, and so maybe that's why this season has gotten so sparkly to remind us that we can sparkle too if we are organized and I know I could use some paring down with just the stuff around the holiday that you tend to accumulate over years and kids and everything. And stripping that back to maybe I only need to put up the one aluminum tree.
We've been doing that. I mean, you and I both have 4 kids.
Yes.
So we had the big holiday thing and the big tree and all the presents and all the work and all the cooking and all the cleaning and all the everything that we had to do to
Hmm.
like a good experience for our children growing up. And now we have like a little I think we have a little, maybe it's maybe about 2 feet tall tree.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Yeah.
Peter has some ceramic trees that he just lights up. They're just
Yes. That's so easy
so easy. I
and
know.
so festive. Now, I
Yeah.
I have to have some greenery. So we did go get a tree last year, a real tree. But I try to make it either a wreath or something nature from to have that nature smell, the aroma of the greens or whatever. And then also, another way that I pamper myself, and I think it's for having quiet time is I do simmer pots on the stove, and you can do those, you can buy those little things, but I usually use it's the spices that
Like
we all think of.
aromatherapy diffuser,
Yeah.
but or you
Hmm.
can just put it on the stove and do it.
Yeah, and they have the ones that are like little crock pots. I don't do candles so much anymore because I don't know what the tolerance of my in the apartment, what my tolerance for fire alarms are, because I've been known to set those off doing grilled cheese sandwiches. Um, so I don't do candles a whole lot, but or incense. So I just throw a bay leaf and some like dried orange peels and whatever allspice berries and sprinkle some cinnamon in and turn it on. And it's within a few minutes, it's really nice. You have to watch it
Delicious.
though, so it doesn't boil away.
Right, that's true.
But it evokes the scent, evokes, I know, calm and peace for me. And um, so
So
whatever kind of practice that
yeah,
someone can
you're
create for
making me think like
themselves.
that's like something ceremonial with intention
Hmm.
to do. But this is as we prepare for the December solstice, and it doesn't have to be the exact solstice. And as you
Hmm.
said, that 3-day window when the sun is standing still, it's actually pretty much in the same place for 3 weeks. It's in the exact
Hmm.
same place for 3 days, but it's solstice means standstill of the sun. So
Hmm.
that pause point at either solstice, but especially this solstice, and then just feeling into what is it that we want to what would be the theme for the year that we'd want to energize for ourselves. This last year my theme has been genuine self-acceptance. Um,
Hmm.
I created a theme for our relationship this year, and it was gracious kindness.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's been very, very defining. It's been amazing to have just like, okay, is this an act of gracious kindness? Is this, it's like asking ourselves based on that. You can have, that you want to have m- get more organized, or it can be anything that feels alive and aligned for you. I've also had themes where I was working on health, wealth, and well-being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so, so taking some time to tune into what's like most alive for you right now,
Mm-hmm.
what, and if you can come up with it in 2 or 3 words, it could be 4 or 5. It doesn't have to be limited, but keeping it something that you'll remember and that you can remind yourself, like, is this aligned with this intent? It's such a great way to connect with this, like a sacred, holy time of the year.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
reason why it's called the holy days or the holidays.
Yeah. I like that. And my word for the year was practice. You know, personal practice, practicing new things, but creating a practice. So one of the things that I've done is making sure I tuned into the Venus calls or watched the recordings. And I didn't do a collage every time like I did several cycles ago. And I just had to let go of that. Instead of judging myself, I just took what I could do easily, which was just practice and showing up,
Yeah. And
and
sometimes it's as
so,
simple as having a Venus altar or whatever
mhm,
thing that you're doing a practice around, just um, doing some journaling, doing an altar, having a mantra that you say every day,
mhm, mhm.
having a way of touching into something bigger. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, taking,
Yeah.
taking a walk every day out in nature if you can. Love that. It's
I
one of
do
my
too.
favorites.
I mean, there's nothing like a walking meditation, and it happens whether you have that intent or not. I mean, there's data that proves that walking out in nature, especially if you can touch things like barefoot and if it's cold, but communing with nature in some way, touching branches and
And if
um
it's sunny, getting the sunlight, and if it's
yes.
cloudy, just appreciating the beauty that's around you. Yeah,
Yeah, because sometimes in winter it can feel really dreary, but for me, if I look around it looks like a black and white painting. So looking for like the cardinals and things that add that flash of color outside and that. The other thing that I'm kind of infamous for in my circles up here is doing a vision board.
yeah.
It's
Those
like
are
everyone's
so
like, "Oh
good.
no, there's Teresa and her vision board again."
I love doing vision boards. I haven't done one for a while, so you're inspiring me to think it might be time to get the things
Yeah.
in for the
And
coming year.
And I've also let go of it has to be New Year's Day.
Right.
It took me a month to do mine last year. And, I just steadily kept working on it. And it was very intentional. And I've got it in front of me now still so I can see it
Right.
and
Yeah, because
activate it.
it reminds your subconscious of what the intentions were that you put into that. That's why
Yes.
having an altars altar awareness, that's our purpose. Having an
Yes.
altar with symbols on the altar that remind you of your intention, or a vision board, which actually has images that remind
Hmm.
you of intention, but where you can see it so that your subconscious is getting reminded of that intention every day.
Yeah.
It's so
A-
powerful. I love
And
it.
I love vision boards because it can be as simple as cutting things out of magazines and gluing them on a paper.
That's what I usually do.
I mean, I go all out, but it's in some years they're incomplete. Some years, I will give a hint though. If you start with a black poster board or a black paper, it always looks finished.
Oh, there you go. I love that. I've done different colored poster boards for whatever the mood was in the
Yeah,
moment.
it always looks finished. There's the white space makes it look like you haven't finished, until you fill out the space.
Yeah.
But that also, relaxing into whatever it looks like for you. And
Yeah,
it's something you don't need to share with anybody.
right.
It's
Yeah, and
it's
sometimes
yours.
a lot of times, Teresa and I are in the same priestess lineage, and so there was something to be said for not necessarily sharing your intention with others who wouldn't support it. They may or may not, but you want to, it's like you hold it close
Hmm.
so that you're not getting a negative energy put into it if somebody doesn't agree with what your intention is. So there's really something to be said for that. But if you
Yeah.
have people that you can share it with and they get excited, that's fun too.
Yes. Yeah. I know I can always share things with you and you get excited.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
so this is definitely a time to give yourself space to have more rest, to meditate more, or go within more. We can get our attention drawn out so much, and especially when family visits and those kinds of things happen.
Hmm. Hmm.
But if you have time before and after that, to spend more time and just really feeling deeply into what's most alive for you,
Hmm.
what you want to energize, and really that's how miracles and magic happens. It's like we make the intention and then these things come together. Teresa, you'll appreciate this. I was just reading the letter I wrote to Lady Olivia when I was finishing my priestess
Hmm.
process back in 1995, December
Oh,
2nd, 1995, by the
wow.
way. Yeah,
Hmm.
so and I was astounded at all the things because of the intentions that I had put out there that had happened. Like I wrote about them
Wow.
and I had forgotten some of them. I was like,
Hmm.
that was super high magic. And that was because I was being very intentional, especially if you can do it with, if there's people that you know that can align and support you, and you can align and support them and their intentions. That
Hmm.
adds to the power of those intentions that we create for the year, for for a month cycle, a year cycle, a 26,000 year cycle.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love that, by the way, because I've run across things in my journals that are like, wow, or old vision boards. I never throw them away. Um, so I think, there's on a slightly different tangent, there's all the talk around daylight savings time and not, and I hate it getting dark so early and all of that, but I think that's intentional. It's getting dark early so that we can be in a place that we're not distracted by all the outdoor things that we could be doing or whatever. I will say one of the most beautiful things I've ever done though in the dark is cross country skiing.
Oh, that's cool.
It's beautiful because it's a full sensory experience. It's cold and the sound your skis make and the scent of the trees and usually moon, and
Right, doing it
so
under a full moon is ideal.
yes. Well, I used to go on a lighted course on a golf course, but still it was just magical. And so I think there's a lot to be said for our shortened days and giving us time to practice whatever it is that we want to do to set intentions for the new season coming.
And I will just say that I live in the Southwest, so the days are definitely shorter, and it gets
Hmm.
dark a lot earlier. But when I was spending time with my husband Peter when he lived in Wisconsin, and the days it would be dark at 4 o'clock, and I came back to Arizona, and I was like, oh my God, it's light until 5:30. That extra hour and a half made a huge difference. But
It
depending on
does.
where you are, it's like, what is the land? What is the energy of the land where you live asking for from you? And also supporting you to, energize to do that deeper dive.
Hmm.
So I love this.
When I think tune into the animals, like bears hibernate.
Yeah.
And what's
A lot of
going
animals
on in
hibernate.
nature around you,
Yeah. Yeah. I know here the snakes hibernate.
which is a great thing,
Right? It's like you don't have to worry about running across a rattlesnake when you're walking in the desert in
right?
winter here. But
I love snakes, but great respect.
yes, exactly. Yeah. So is there anything else that we need to cover? Because I think we've pretty
I
much,
I think we're good, other
yeah.
than, you know, wishing
These,
everyone a happy solstice
yes,
season and
these high holy days, and to
yeah.
really honor them and respect them, and to honor yourself, and to create the space for yourself as we're starting into a new solar year, and also keeping in mind that it's also a new 26,000 year cycle that, I mean, there's a bigger transition because if you think of a day in 26,000 years, it's probably at least 144 years.
Right.
One day, right? Based on the, if you do the calculation of the equality of that, right? So it's
Yeah.
at least that. It may be more
Yeah.
than that, but it's at least that. So,
It's at least that more
right.
than our lifetime.
More than our lifetime. Yeah.
I hope.
So
I
many,
hope.
many blessings to everyone. Hope
Yes.
you really find this useful, supportive, and insightful. And we'll be back.
Yes. See you later, Kaylin.
Bye.